safely. Good. Okay,
Very hard. We are partnering with Hellrick's Farm. They're in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. If you're familiar with them, Paul Hellrick is one of the owners of the farm. He did not have facilities on his farm for his goats to stay over the winter and be able to handle cold temperatures and the weather. Whereas we do, and we have open barns. So we are working with him to overwinter his goats for him, and then they'll return in the spring once temps come up and they start. We have 28 goats in the barn currently. There's a variety of different breeds, mostly pygmy goats. They're super friendly. They do goat yoga at Hellrick's, so they bend over the right up on the back.
We've actually some of the Skills USA competitors, Breast Relief, and really
Yep.
forward to potentially doing that before the Skills USA competition.
Yep, exactly. Students so far in the month that we've had them have been able to learn handling and restraint skills. They've been able to observe for upper respiratory symptoms in the goats. They got to perform a physical exam on an older goat that got sick right as she got here. They were able to give her meds, do supportive care for her, so a lot of really great veterinary skills. And Paul Hellrick has funded all of this. He pays the vet bill, he pays for feed bills, he pays for everything. We take care of them and we get the benefit of experience for the kids.
That's on the agenda for the young, because anytime we sign a contract, we want to make the board aware of that.
So we wanted to trial run it and then see how this works. Make sure it worked really well for both parties. Before we put that MOU in place, and the intent to have this as a yearly thing, to partner with Hellrick's and bring this back to the students every year.
And because I was told we couldn't bring the goats because sanitary.
Yeah.
We did put a picture of the.
And Dr. Herrera, in the spring when things warm up, I'll put that back in the draft behind the cafeteria, and I'll bring some goats down and you can meet them and see them.
So then, because I'm unfamiliar because I wasn't here during COVID. But like with the big animals, so far, what was before COVID that we used to have, and what are we trying to work toward to get back?
Because of the labor market, we really focus on vet assisting, with the tech being the number one primary jobs, and the hassle is focusing on that. That's our greatest labor market. We would spend a week and we would have large animals such as pigs, goats, etc. And also during COVID, the barns. So we're working very closely with Del Val and Mr. Hallowell to make sure that those barns are up to date and safe, especially because we are also looking to have the vet tech program, leasing it out to the community college.
Okay.
You may see in the newspapers, I want to thank Stacy and Caitlin, they wrote a grant. And it hasn't been communicated to us, but it's for $25,000. It's a matching program that we should use to help bring this back up to those standards. Having especially in Bucks County.
What do you think? I know it's probably hard to tell, but I don't know, like timing of when we could even do that, like.
So we want to make sure through the advisory committees that we first of all want to identify all the animals.
Right.
We're in the process of that. We just created, Stacy, Caitlin, and George, an animal welfare plan, which in today's day and age needs to be very, very succinct. Including a whistleblower, including just making sure that we're protected in those animals. Part how to store them in better terms, and does it make sense on how those different programs work? Vet assisting, ag tech, and the vet tech from the college. How do we be strategic and not waste money? Taking a look at existing buildings and structure, is now anything I'm missing?
I think we need to find out what college would need and go from there.
In the
Can I add a
spring,
little bit?
wasn't there some issues with the building though, with the barn? I mean, I remember there being some talk about having to have some major modifications or.
Yes, so that's part of that strategic plan where this particular barn, those were remediated.
Yeah, the red barn that we're being pumped in had just some minor things that had to. Before they could come back and take action for the kids and the animals. Our pig barn has some more things that need to be done before we can bring things back into that barn. And a few of our sheds need some pretty heavy maintenance and upkeep to get them back to where they were. And some of this that we're working on with this grant and this plan is to modify and adjust and bring it into a veterinary perspective. So out of that old ag concept, start bringing in some of what you see in a vet's office when we're talking about animals. So stocks, chutes for different species, areas that we could practice some medical restraints and handling in different capacities. Because in Bucks County, there's a lot of small and large animal, and there are a number of course large animal vets that you could get into. So this is a really great opportunity for us to be one of a kind in the state for vet assisting.
And they really relied on us and Caitlin at the college and Mr. Hollowell, Dr. Diamond, our long storied history. And how many vets were there? Like 10 or 15 of them, right?
Yeah, at least that could be in attendance that day. There's more that are interested and willing to work. We've been working with a partnership with Quakertown Vet. We're trying to bring in kind of a nice triangle of the key players in Bucks County to make this really great, well-rounded vet assisting here, and then move on to the vet tech level in the college perspective.
As my good friend, Mr. Sherman would always ask, do you have a plan?
We are working on a plan.
And in that plan, you have financial projections that are necessary to make that plan come to fruition. And if we don't have that financial information from the get-go, looking at prior projects, I think having that financial analysis done early would be a major benefit to making sure that the program would be successful in the future.
I completely understand that. Now that we have this grant in place that we'll have some funds for, my OAC and additional stakeholders, both at Quakertown Vet and other veterinary practices in the area, we're gonna sit down and figure out what does the future look like? How do we set this up in a really strategic and really evolutionary kind of manner where we're moving forward with things, and part of it will be the financial end. So we can come up with an idea of what we have to happen now, what that's going to cost us, and then what is going to happen down the line that we can work towards over time, and we can budget for as we go along.
Any other questions? I'm excited for it. I think it sounds awesome. I can't believe there's 28 of the goats.
They're super fun. If you ever come up during a school day and you drive out back, they'll be running around the field. They're really cool.
So
So at this point, that's all you have is just the goats.
Yes, that is, we're gonna start very slowly, bring one or two things back at a time, and just make sure we do this in a really strong, well thought out manner instead of rushing to just bring everything back at full capacity.
So then, for our purposes, are we good for this to go onto the board agenda? Okay, so we're all good. Okay, great. Okay, then I believe that's all that's on for the programs. Our next scheduled meeting will be February 15th.
Okay,
Because you've got the,
so we have, for the benefit of the new board members, if you go on to board docs, they do a nice job of detailing the different changes. We have this schedulable doc that we put together, but there's also it was very helpful to kind of go on, look at them ahead of time when they get sent out. And tonight we have the fitness center, which is just minor changes to lending of equipment and books. Building security changes. And use of facilities. I'm sorry, 708, 710. 715, which is the use of faculty, which is deleted. And the fitness center. Was deleted too. Does anyone have any questions? We also make sure that we check with your state school districts, that they're in line. And so when we work with the School Boards Association, they look and they check our agreement, they check policies, they check regs, things to make sure that it's on. Any questions, comments, or any to look at any of these?
Like I had gone through, I think I told you before, I'd gone through and compared them with Palisades and, you know, they're very, very similar. I did wonder though, the fitness center, well, it's because the policy states that it's not open for the general public, which I understand that. Did you ever think about possibly having, you know, letting people pay to use it, or isn't it large enough to actually use it for that kind of facility?
Not really large, and we have the staff to supervise it, but we do allow the law enforcement to use it. We created them years ago. They're very thankful, Chief Phelan and the police department. We give them the schedule and make sure with Anthony and Charlie that they're here, the hours are open, so they make full use of it. It's our way of giving back to them. We should do that.
Good.
It's a security issue. Can't have a particular one section of the building open for one general purpose, so doesn't make sense.
Unless you're getting.
We'll build it back here on their dollar.
Yes. So. Policies are okay, everything's all right, nobody has any questions, so our next policy meeting will be February. Are we gonna continue with the schedule, 6 o'clock and 6:15? Okay, so, okay,
I really like having the other communities on the separate thing.
I do.
Thank you.
I didn't do it, I just suggested it.
You did. Okay, we're good with that. Now, if you want to just retreat at the desserts.
Meeting coming to order.
The January 18th joint operating committee meeting of the Upper Bucks County Technical School, and let's start out by saluting our flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands, nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tracy, do you want to do the roll call?
Here.
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 Ms. Blumgren. Here. Mr. Hallowell.
I'm here.
Dr.
He's not here tonight. Yes, he's. Can Jim, can he hear us?
He said he was here.
Oh, he did, okay. Thank you.
I'm here and I can hear you, but it's broken up.
Shermer.
Here.
Mr. Kaufman.
Here.
Is that it? No, okay. Very good, thank you very much, and now let's see, if there will be no executive session this evening, there was nothing on that, so we'll move on to our, first order of business is public comments, are there any public comments? No? Okay, let's move on to our administrative reports.
Okay, I'd like to ask Mrs. McFall to present our January meeting of the month, Amanda Detweiler.
So Amanda Detweiler is a senior at Penridge High School and a dedicated student in our cosmetology program who's been selected as the student of the month. Demonstrating academic excellence, Amanda is a first honors student and has been recognized with the Outstanding Level 2 award for her exceptional skills in cosmetology. Her commitment to professional development is evident in her achievement of Barbicide and Barbicide COVID-19 certifications. Amanda's sense of community service shines through her volunteer work at the Revivals Outreach Center. There, she contributes her time and talent by baking and preparing meals for the soup kitchen, showcasing her compassion and willingness to give back to the community. Adding to her impressive portfolio, since September of 2023, Amanda has begun her cooperative education program at Main Street Salon and Spa in Silverdale. This opportunity represents a significant step in her professional growth, guided by the support of her parent Kelly and her mentor Patricia Fogarty, who have both been instrumental in her journey. While there, she serves as an assistant stylist, observing and performing all aspects of the cosmetology trade, emphasizing exceptional customer service. Amanda's integrity and welcoming demeanor make her a highly valued employee and a professional. Looking ahead, Amanda plans to continue expanding her expertise in the beauty industry by furthering her education in aesthetics after graduation. Her dedication, skills, and community involvement make her an exemplary choice for Student of the Month and a role model for her peers. Congratulations. And Amanda's employers, Patricia and Gary from Main Street Salon and Spa, are also in attendance. Would you like to come up and say something? I'll let you go first. You could say something that makes me know as well.
Okay. So I started at Main Street Salon in June of 2022. That's correct, yeah. And I really enjoyed my time getting to learn more from Patty and all the stylists there. They're all great and just help me learn more techniques and just expand on salon life. Thank you.
Well, we are very proud of Amanda. She's gone way and beyond expectations of what we expected of her. We can't believe how far she's come with our training and so forth, but she's one of the best employees I think I've ever had.
A year and a half, she's never been late. And I think that's exceptional for a student of her age. And she always walks through that door with a smile, and she always leaves. Before she leaves, she says with a beautiful smile, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" So I think she's an exceptional person, thanks to Kelly and Ray.
So Amanda, are you on track to get your certification?
I actually have my cosmetology license. I got it this summer, so.
Great. And she's doing services, real life services on
That's great.
So Amanda is one of those students who I joke sometimes and say, I don't know if I deserve my paycheck because she just does everything I ask her to do. But on the other hand, she keeps Mrs. Mandano and I hopping to try to stay ahead of where she's at because she excels. So you're always trying to find that advanced skill for her to learn. And that's one of the things that whenever she is back with us, she is licensed. She was the first one. We now have 5 that have their license this year. She was the first one. But when she comes back in, it's like, what do you need to work on? You're licensed, you passed everything, you have your skill task list done with us. what can we do to help you to progress in the salon? So color applications and different things are what we're working on with her, and some advanced hair cutting and those sorts of things. So Amanda has done a demonstration here. She's gonna have her mother come up, and I'm gonna have Amanda explain, and Mrs. Sharon, that's fine. I always mess it up, Sharina. So we con her into getting it. We thought maybe you all wanted to write a note or something, so we didn't ask any of you. She's here like observing everything. So Amanda's going to explain the paraffin hand dips that we talked about, like whenever we had the senior day, the senior expo, we talked about the paraffin hand dip. So this is, you can see what it is. So I'll have Amanda explain a little bit.
Okay, so the paraffin hand wax is similar to candle wax. You dip your hands in and it just helps to moisturize the hands and like really lock in that moisture. You massage it off. And the hands become nice and soft, especially in the winter when your hands get really dry. It's a good add-on service for like manicures and pedicures. You can also put paraffin wax on the face. So when we do facials, we can also do a paraffin wax facial. Yes, yeah, pedicure, yes.
How does it feel?
It's down really quick, and then when you put
Yeah.
yeah,
It was
very
it played with candle wax. You know, most of us have, even though our parents told us not to, we did it, our kids weren't looking and we did it. It actually doesn't feel quite as hot as that sometimes. It feels hotter on your feet than your hands because your feet aren't used to the elements and everything like your hands are. Yeah.
It's take a while. Give yourself enough juice.
You do sure.
Does it help with cuticles?
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
It moisturizes them so they don't dry and crack.
Right.
Oh, really? Okay. Thank you.
Mom, Dad, do you want to say anything?
Just we're proud of Amanda. It's been a great experience for her. She's enjoyed both of her teachers and just developing relationships with them as well and seeing them push her to do her best. And it's just been a great experience. She was able to get her hours in, and it was exciting to have her go for her test, and she knew her teachers were so excited for her as well. So it's been a great experience.
Also very proud of my daughter as she's worked hard and diligently to get her license early. And yeah, we're just glad to be here. I'm a graduate from a few years back. Technical school. But yeah, we're excited for her and the career that she's chosen, and this was a great place for that first step. So
Thank you very
much.
So it's no secret that cosmetology is the program of the month this month. And our program, led by esteemed educators Kim Kukis and Barbara Mandato, exemplifies educational excellence in our school. The program stands out because of their dedication and expertise as instructors. Navigating an ever-changing industry is challenging and exhilarating. Kim and Barb thrive in this field because of their commitment to continuous learning, constant networking, adaptability, diversified skill set, and positive approach to that they bring to our school. It's no secret that they come with a smile every day to work, which makes it a great place to work. Kim's career in cosmetology began in 1984 and swiftly transitioned to education through Penn State's Workforce Development undergrad program. Her experience in various salon roles complements her position as an educator for Matrix Salon Professional Products. Kim's 33 years in technical school education and her involvement in VICA, which was this precursor to Skills USA, Skills Advisor, demonstrate her commitment to career tech in general. She is certified in various Milady courses and is dedicated to become a continuous learner by striving to become a master educator, which I think you already are by far. Barb also has impressive career over 40 years, is a testament to her dedication and expertise. She began as a licensed cosmetologist 43 years ago, and her career quickly involved in educating future cosmetologists. Her 25 years as a stylist and 6 years managing a large salon team underscore her practical and leadership skills. Beyond hairstyling, Barb has enriched her knowledge through advanced courses and participation in industry shows. We're going to the New York Beauty Show next month as an example. And her 18 years at Upper Bucks highlight her significant role in shaping the future of aspiring cosmetologists, blending practical and educational skills seamlessly. A while back, we brought a proposal about running an esthetician course through the community college. We're proud to state that that's going through. It started last night. And that's just that signifies our approach to workforce development, not only benefiting secondary students, but post-secondary. And what's really nice is 2 of our students are being able to participate in that, and they receive some grants through the community college. So it's a win-win. We thank the board for allowing us to offer these services, which benefit the community. Thank you for your foresight on that. And in conclusion, the cosmetology program is a prime example of their commitment to excellence. Their extensive experience in salon management, advanced training, and educational expertise provide students with holistic and in-depth learning experience. We thank you very much. And in your packet is a cosmetology clinic price list. It's no secret, every Thursday and Friday, it's very packed, and you got to schedule in advance if you want to get these services. Let's celebrate Barb and Kim. Thank you for all you do.
I want to thank you for your continued support. And like Dr. Royer just said, we do have 2 of our students who came in last year as juniors, so they're level 2 seniors this year. So there's no way they could finish the program this year. Since we did away with adult education, this is the way that they can finish the program this year. If they continue to have really good attendance and keep going on the route that they're going, they'll be able to sit for their test at the end of this year after graduation. So very excited for them. They did get some grant money, so they didn't have to pay 100% of the tuition. They did have to pay a small portion of tuition, but they're excited to be able to do it. Their parents are excited to be able to do it, so they don't have to transfer to post-secondary education. But we can, just thank you for your continued support with our clinic and approving our price list whenever they have to come through, and approving the New York trip tonight. Thank you in advance.
How many hours do you need to get your license?
1,250. So it takes all 3 years, and it's really, especially for Quakertown right now, only coming 2 hours a day. It's very hard for the Quakertown students if they come in as a sophomore to get their hours. The one good thing that came out of the pandemic for us is that we can do online hours now. We were never allowed to do online hours in the state of Pennsylvania. So the students have like the different certifications that they do through Milady with infection control procedures, human traffic awareness, domestic violence awareness. There's a couple other ones, but those are like 3 main ones: barbicide, disinfectant. They do all of those online so that they can get some extra hours because it all ties in to the curriculum. And OSHA, the OSHA 10 hours. Yep, and the SB2. SB2. So those are all ways that they can get their hours in.
So you guys have been going to this New York, I'll ask my question now, beauty show for years now. Are you getting close to being able to actually showcase at this show, set up a booth and say, look at all the great things we are doing?
No, it costs way too much money, and we have to be there for 4 days, and no.
Okay. These great innovative things that you're doing, and it would be great to share them.
It is. if we were there, we'd be advertising like for people to come and enroll in our school, and we're not a post-secondary institution, so. There are one or two makeup schools in New York that do that exact same thing, but they are soliciting, get students to enroll in their makeup program. And they do phenomenal work. I mean, they're like on movie sets and everything else, but.
And to do education, I found out from one of the presenters that a few years ago, it was gonna be his last time presenting there because they are now requiring, or about 5 years ago, started to require the presenters and the educators to have a product line or a product piece of equipment for our industry that they can advocate and sell during the show. So there's one educator that I really enjoyed watching him. He was no longer going to be allowed to be a presenter or an educator at the New York Hair Show because he didn't have a product line at the time.
Because he was just showing techniques.
Just techniques. So that's not what they wanted to see. That's what I want to see. You know.
Also, the majority of us want
You
to
all,
see.
by this point in our careers, you have your favorite product lines that you are going to stay with. I don't need to see their product lines. You know, you've had enough education on that. I want to see technique,
Right.
you know, so. But
And that's what we want the
we do
students
get
to
out
do.
of that. We go up on Sunday, on the professionals day, so we can get our own education. And then on Tuesday, which is student day, we are there with the students, helping them purchase new shears or flat irons, you know, find the best quality or what works for them. So we don't get our own education on Tuesday, but we do go up on Sunday for our own education.
And the students are required, we pick, on Sunday, we sit there and we've like been, oh, wow, this class sounds really good for the level 3s or the level 4s to sit in on. And then we sit in represent and we're like, oh, we fell
Yeah.
asleep. They're not gonna be able to handle it. We have to change our game plan.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, but the students are, we require them to sit with us in a class, in an actual classroom, and then we're out on the show floor watching demonstrations, and they have a whole report that they come back and write up and everything. And it's a very educational, it's not just shopping spree, you can shop, but it's very, you know, it's designed to be educational. It's to teach them how to get education after they graduate.
Kim, how easy is it to maintain your state board license?
It's
A lot of
It's
paperwork.
easy. It really is easy in the state of Pennsylvania. All we have to do is pay.
$150 or something now?
I think it was like 120 this year, but it's going up to 135 next year, it's not 2 years, something like that. But there are some states that require continuing education. Pennsylvania is not one of those. For public school teachers, we're a different entity. Because we're already state certified through Department of Education, but the private school sector, they do have to do so many hours of continuing education. But for the public school sector, we are governed under Department of Education, so our Act 48 hours, those sorts of things. We don't have to document and show that to them because they know the Department of Education requires that, but your private sector has to do continuing education and then pay to renew your license every 2 years. And the regular cosmetologists are the same thing. And again, there are states that even for the cosmetology license, they have to show continuing education, but Pennsylvania, they've talked about it over the years, but it hasn't gone through yet. Thank you.
I just want to thank Mrs. Serrano for helping out with the hand moisturizer. On it, and I just want to let you know that's not gonna happen when you come to all the meetings. It's a result of the pandemic. So don't count on it for every meeting.
Thank you. You're more than welcome to stay for the meeting, but if you have places to go, that's up to you. Donation report, I'd like to thank Mrs. Mary Ann Diaz, our new school tour coordinator, for donating a front-loading washer and a front-loading dryer to the vet assisting program. So that's on the donation report tonight. We have a farm show update, and Mrs. Denka and Mr. Dietrich going to talk to us a little bit about the farm show, keystones, and the freshman jackets.
All right, we're very excited to be in front of you guys. This is our favorite time of year to talk about farm show.
It may not be our usual farm show conversation, but we had a lot of great things happen this year. The Upper Bucks Tech FFA attended farm show and FFA midwinter convention on Monday, January 8th. At the convention, we had 3 freshman jacket recipients, which Mr. Dietrich will talk about in further, and 9 Keystone degrees this year, which I'll go over shortly. It was another very strong year for our FFA members.
So for the freshman jackets, one of the unique challenges that we had to face this year was, instead of a Pennsylvania FFA Association working hard to allocate the money to kind of sponsor the jackets, they put the challenge on us advisors across the state to raise the money to get jackets. And every $50 every $75 that we were able to bring in was an additional jacket that we could earn. And across the state, the total number of jackets that were received that day was 900, which I believe that is equivalent to some of the graduating classes at some of the high schools here. And so I want to just imagine like a graduating class, every single student at the same time getting to stand up and get their jacket for the first time. That is something that is really quite kind of spectacular to kind of see and behold. Our 3 that were able to receive jackets this year, we had Zarina from Quakertown, a 9th grader. She's hoping to get into the veterinary medicine field when she graduates on the vet assisting program. We have Cade here next to me. He's a 9th grader from Palisades. I believe Cade's goal is to go into ag mechanics and kind of get into that kind of field as his hope. And then the other student that was not able to be here either was Olivia Mood, a 9th grader from Quakertown as well. And her goal after high school here is to go into the family home farm and kind of continue that life work. And so it's a really tough it was a lot of hard work. All 3 of these students have definitely went above and beyond in both our programs. And so when it kind of came to the conversation as to who we were going to have be the Upper Bucks Tech students to get their jackets, it was without hesitation that Mrs. Dank and I, we both were like instantly these 3 would be the 3 students that would get them. And so we're immensely proud of them, and we're really kind of are looking forward to seeing how far they go in their next couple of years with the programs.
For some perspective, in years past, they awarded a little over 300 jackets. So this was an epic year for FFA with over 900. They awarded over 500 Keystone degrees this year, which is also another big jump for what we've done in the past. So PAFFA in general is thriving, and our kids are pushing right along with it. If you're not familiar with a Keystone degree, this is a senior student who has met criteria for their SAE projects, which are supervised agricultural experiences, their involvement in our chapter, and then community service for the Upper Bucks County area. There's a lot of hours that go into these applications, both in their projects and the time they put in, as well as all of the tracking and the logging that we have to do to get them ready for the application. Our Keystone degrees this year, we had a lot of really great projects highlighted, a lot of local businesses such as Runaway Farms Vet, Tiny Miracles Rescue, Rock Hill Community, and Pleasant Valley Animal Hospital, to name a few. Other students had successful projects in training alpacas, caring for various pets, and trout in the classroom. So it was a really great project year with some really awesome things to highlight. Our degree winners were as follows: Layla Cotter, who is in the vet class. She's a Quakertown senior. Kayla Hartley, who's in the vet program. She's a Penridge senior. Sydney Moyer, who's also a vet student and a Penridge senior. Jack Dowler, who's with us tonight. He's an ag student and a senior at Quakertown. Ethan Donifrey, who's in ag as well, senior at Quakertown. Jaden Levnick, who is also an ag student and a senior at Quakertown. Orlando Zelaya, who's a ag student and senior at Quakertown. Alicia Santoro, who's an ag student and a senior at Penridge. And Summer Reed, who is an ag student and a senior at Palisades. So we had representation from all 3 districts, which is also really exciting. Most of these students could not be here tonight. They had work commitments. All those really great projects were still demanding hours out of them. But we'll try to get them in front of you at some point down the line during this school year so that you can see all these really amazing students and be able to talk with them.
Good to hear from Kate and Jack. You're also a co-op student. I think just say a little bit about yourself and
Go first. Well, I am very appreciative of the opportunities that I've had from my parents and some of my friends to push me to enter this program, and I have a lot of opportunities such as co-op. And I'm very thankful for all the support.
To say that my days in the ag program have been, they've just flown by, honestly. Senior year, I can't believe it. All the cliches, but where do I start in the ways that I love this class? I mean, the students make it interesting. Sorry, just having a lot of emotions going through my head, all of the growth that's happened. I'm sorry, there's just memories just going through my head right now. I don't know how to sort through all of it. I love this class. I love my teachers. I love the students. It's just been an amazing experience throughout my high school career. And I don't know how I would have been anything where I am right now without it.
And to round it up, Taylor is here with us tonight. Taylor, she's a student teacher from Delaware Valley University. I know Jack was accepted and looking into that. And she's originally from upstate New York. She has a deep-rooted connection to agriculture through her experiences on her family dairy farms and maple operation. Her passion has started, just like yours, through CTE and FFA. And we need more and more people that are entering this field, especially as teachers. So we're glad to have you here. And Taylor, thank you for coming and lending your experience. And we're going to help you grow from us, but we also would love to hear your experiences and welcome them. Do you have any questions for anyone?
Just congratulations.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Very nice.
Thank you for all your support.
Okay, thank you. And so, on the agenda tonight, we are, like direct your attention to the board. We are working and the Colorex farm goats and the vet assisting program. Overwintering 28 super friendly goats. They'll be returning back to the farm in March of 2024. Variety of breeds, mostly pygmy, both whether male or females. This is Danka, some of the skills that these students have been working on.
Sure, in the short time they've been with us, students have learned to handle and restrain goats. They've been doing observations for upper respiratory illnesses, looking at giving meds and supportive care for an older goat who got sick shortly after she arrived here. They got to do physical exams on that said goat who was also sick, which was really interesting. We've reviewed footwork, talked about feet goals and how we monitor and keep track of those things. So a lot of really great real world experiences happen with these guys in our care.
I think my 12-year-old daughter's practicing because she went to the farm show and held the goats in the little goat snuggling area.
I love there's a goat snuggling area.
We set up the goat center of all time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bob, take a look at that.
He's refusing. Please.
And so the newsletter, I'm sorry, one more time, is online. We're accepting applications. We accept the news articles were excellent. There's a game day menu, very, very popular. We have a very extensive Facebook page. I believe this was shared at least 25 times already. It's it's hours. We do a lot of tours, which is really essential. Mr. Warewan, who is a local community member from Palisades, really benefits. He's incredibly impressed by Upper Bucks Tech School. Cannot believe that students from the Palisades, Penridge, and Quakertown have access to such amazing programs. He commented, I don't know a better way to prepare future community leaders and support local workforce needs, which you see every month. So we appreciate that, and et cetera, et cetera. I just wanted to also thank you for your support, and that's the administrative report for.
That's it? Wow, okay. You don't have anything to add?
No, except, he didn't mention the Skills USA showcase.
Very good. Yeah. Yeah. In part of CP, so if you have the opportunity, our students are really excited to compete. This is our Super Bowl. And it's on the 24th, and the award ceremony was after. But students and staff are very, very excited about this. And again, if you go, lunch is on Skills USA. And we would love to. Please let me know if you're going, we can make arrangements. If anyone wants to carpool, you can make arrangements.
And I've gone this for the last few years. And it's exciting. I mean, it's exciting just to see the kids and how focused they are, and you know, it kind of brings everything all together. You know, all these decisions we make, all this stuff we do, you get to actually see, you know, these kids working really hard toward, you know, toward whatever competition they're in. You know, where you don't really get to interact with them there. You do get to interact with, no, you're not allowed to do that. Yes. You do get to see a lot of their teachers, and you get to see how excited they are even for their students. So it's very rewarding.
Okay, all right. And moving on to our committee. Okay, so let's move on to our committee reports. We had our first separate facilities and finance committee meetings on the 4th of January. So I'm giving that over to Jim and Bob to do their reports. Jim Hallowell, Chair of the Facilities, and Robert Cormack, who is the Chair of the.
Okay. There was a pretty good crowd there. Two main discussions. First was strategies and plans for the buildings and grounds. D&J has been doing a lot. They gave us some examples of how things are working, and we're very impressed. Site Logic, Casey Kohler gave a presentation on how the kitchen area was being finished. Target date is still the 14th of February. We talked about the roof on the annex, the generator over here, and the chillers over on that side. Site Logic recommends that all those things be done this year. The estimated cost for those three items is 1.3 to 1.7 million. So now it's your turn.
Well, thank you very much for making my report for me. Appreciate it. Really, the essence of looking at the finance committee was to get a review of projects that needed to be completed by Site Logic. Not saying that it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but looking at some of the studies that they put together for us. There is a problem with certain sections of the roof. We don't believe it goes down to the metal decking. We don't believe it's in the insulation in certain areas, hoping it's not. But we're looking at a cost of about $1.1 million, somewhere in that ballpark, just for taking care of the roof. And that's called maintenance. That's nothing more than got to be done. And then we looked at other things. We looked at generators. We looked at the compressors. And we had some really good discussion on it. And I want to thank my cohort from Penridge, Mr. Kaufman, because he's a lot smarter than I am when it comes to electricity. So he has some really pertinent questions that I think even put Mr. Hollowell to shame. And if Chuck was here, he probably would have clapped for him. So no, but he had some great questions about, what the compressor does, what happens if we turn it off, how does it affect the building, from a whole slew of circumstances, from just student safety. I think is the most critical one. And you don't know if you can throw a switch whether it's going to work or not. There was issues with the tank farm, not having the proper piping coming out of the tank farm to supply the generators. Well, we come to find out, and Dr. Herrera actually had someone that had some knowledge of the tank farm came out and said, no, you do have the right cabling for the line, like tubing. It just has to be, shut off at one point and reworked. So we're looking at that. I think the overall discussion was we've got a $1.5 million expenditure that we're looking at, and we're trying to get the ascending school districts to feel that those costs are agreeable to. And that's our mission to move forward. And talking about budgets, to how we doing over there, Station?
We are in the process of compiling the budget for 24-25. In that process, I will be preparing a projection of the current year, 23-24, through June 30. So more to come on that as we finalize those numbers, work through prioritizing the expenditures and getting it to a point where we're ready to recommend it for your review in February.
That's great. No, we really appreciate that. We had a good conversation before the meeting. Stephen, we're glad you're on board.
Thank you.
Looking forward to working with you.
Likewise.
So that's a good sign. But there's really nothing more to report from the finance committee standpoint.
I always like your thought.
We have not revisited that. I had a conversation last week with the auditor, and they are finishing up some other final things that need to happen from a compliance perspective. And I expect that they should have their report finalized for you to review in February as well. It's materially complete. Mike, would you like to speak?
Sure. Mr. Kern is our new business manager. She has a wealth of experience. I'd say close to 25 years.
That's correct.
And from sending school districts back for succeeding technology. One of the things that impressed me most about Mr. Kern is how can I get involved? He's hoping to start in February. We are very lucky to have Mr. Grover with a very solid, smooth transition plan. They've already been talking. We appreciate you coming out on your own.
Thank you.
To get involved. And we just are very grateful to have both you and Stacy putting us in sound financial moving forward, current and moving forward. Would you like to?
Notice, thank you for your support. Looking forward to starting here in February as soon as I can. Again, it's unfortunate in schools, you have the 60-day hold, but again, work with Stacy between now and then. We'll make sure it's a smooth transition, but look forward to working with all of you. And again, thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
At Quakertown, we had facilities and finance committees meetings last week, and the consensus at those committees at least was that that UBCTS can move forward in getting costs for these projects. There was some questions about the GIZA process, and I believe our facilities manager at Quakertown was going to reach out to Casey Kohler to try and get him to contact our board, at least the facilities committee, but possibly the entire board, to just give that update on how the GIZA process works, how competitive bidding is or isn't used in that GIZA process. So our board members can get an understanding of that. But beyond that, our board did seem interested in getting more accurate pricing. So is that pretty much what the consensus was?
That's fair.
And Penridge is in the same boat. I mean, they do not want to hold the project back. They need to see more information. Want to see more detailed financial information. And they did have some questions, again, because of Mr. Coppin being on board, some questions about the compressors and so forth, and how what's the real genesis on that, and maybe you need a little more study. There was some concern in regards to timing. And how do you get the necessary contractor to be able to perform, whether it's Skeezer or not? They're busy. You know, bids usually go out sometime in the late fall before you start looking at major roofs. So that was another one of their concerns, that they wanted to see that as addressed as well, but they're not against the project at all.
Palisades, we discussed it and actually dedicated $500,000 in specific fund category, as you call it, to be used over here. But we are.
For all three of the projects? As outlined?
$500,000, our portion.
Well, I mean, but that was for all three. Okay.
Something like that.
I think Jim had some questions on the generator, which I think is working out, but yeah.
Yes, he's listening, he's on.
Okay. I'd
Check
like
scheduled for
the 1st of February. It's the
Thursday.
first Thursday of February. And I'd like to say, I think the meeting went really well. I thank everybody for coming out because we had almost 100% attendance. Chuck, we missed you. But the rest of us were here, and I think, you know, we had good discussion. It went really well. I really appreciated having a separate meeting, having to be able to devote the time to get the questions.
I don't think they're all gonna be 3 hours, but we did have a lot of questions.
3, 2, who's 2.5?
The after meeting discussion doesn't.
Yes, that's right. If you want to hang out and talk, that's up to you. Okay, moving on, the policy subcommittee met prior to this meeting. And we reviewed policies 707.1, 708, 710, 715, and 715, which is going to be replaced with 707.1. Is that right, Michael?
Yes.
You're going to replace that? And so there weren't a lot of changes. There were a few, not much. And I had reviewed the policies, comparing them to Palisades, and found they're appropriate to what our needs are. So
We'll move down to first reading, and we'll be on the agenda for public comment.
for the next
next
meeting. Okay, all right, moving on to programs. Okay. So programs committee met as well before the board meeting today, and there's only one thing that was up for discussion, was the Heller's Farm with the goats. But I don't know if you wanted to just add a little more about like the partnership, and I was shocked to hear about the 28 goats, but which is awesome, and just kind of how we're bringing the big animals back, and just partnership, and just if you want to give a little bit more information on that, just for those that maybe weren't here.
Yeah, so Heller's Farm in Doylestown, he has kind of like an agri-tainment business or an agri-tainment farm. They have a lot of different things there. One of them is these 28 goats that do goat yoga for him. He does not have the facilities to keep them over the winter, and we do, and they're currently open. So we brought them in for students to take care of and learn on. Paul Helrick is covering all of the financial needs for these goats, bedding, feed, veterinary care if it comes up, which it already has, and he covered everything without any hesitation. Everything went very smoothly with him. And then he's going to be doing a monthly donation for us taking care of them. He's still working out how much money he would like to donate to be used in the barn. So there'll be some funds coming in to help with that renovation and upkeep process of the barn as well from him. So we're really just reaping the benefits of learning to care for these animals, getting some of the medical aspects that come with them, and then creating a really wonderful community partnership with a local farm. He also has other opportunities on the farm that he'd love to connect with other programs here. He's highly motivated to build a really great connection to Upper Bucks Tech in whatever way that he can. we've always in the past had sheep, goats, pigs, we're working to get back to that. There's some renovations that have to happen to the barn. We have to look at how we bring the barn from the old ag and start turning it into the new vet and bringing it up to a futuristic standpoint and kind of making it premier for the state. So we're working on coming up with a plan financially, as well as what we'd like to see this merge and move into. And these goats and this partnership with Paul is helping us to kind of bring that to the table and make everything even better than what it was before.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Jordan. Is that it? Yep. Okie dokie. Okay, so let's move on to the consent agenda. So we're going to start with, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve vitamins. Sorry. Items A, B, and C, which includes the December 1st reorganization and regular board meeting minutes, the December financial reports, and the January bills payable. May I have a motion?
A, B, and C.
Was that Chuck? Chuck seconded it. Okay. Are there any questions or comments on any of those three items? All righty.
I've got a question on the bills that it's maybe me not understanding. So when I was looking at the bills list, some items were ACH, some were printed, some were voided out. First off, when I total them all up, it looks like as if the total amount is still included in that sum at the bottom, the 350 or whatever it is. And I'm wondering if that's just a spreadsheet error, or is it an accounting thing where you have a voided item that's still counting towards the total at the end? Can somebody explain that?
Stacy?
If the check was issued and voided and intended to be reissued, then the total check disbursement would have included that amount, because it would have been intended to be an expenditure, and it will be reissued if that's the case. If they were truly voided and not expended at all, then they would not be included. So if it was something that was entered and then the transaction was canceled, so to speak. But if it was issued to the wrong vendor and reissued, it could be included because it would be funds out the door.
That would make sense. So there was an item on there for $8,000 for medical bills voided, and then a line item on the second page, same amount, same expenditure, but that I believe was printed. So I was curious what that line item is, that it's in there twice for two instances of $82,000.
If it's, I don't have the bill list in front of me. If it says medical, more than likely it's insurance premiums for our health insurance. And for any valid reason, I mean, it could be a printer jam.
Sure.
That created the original check was voided and reprinted or reissued. So it could have just been a clerical issue, but that sounds to me like it would have been medical. If you had, if I pull it up, I can tell you by the, Tracy, do you happen to have it there? No, if you scroll through and just tell me that if it's divot, then that in fact was medical.
It was divot.
Yeah, that's your medical.
There's a void in.
Okay, thank you.
Certainly.
That's all. Yep, thank you.
That's it. All right, excellent. Any other questions or comments on any of those three items? So all in favor, say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Jim, did we get Jim? Okay, good. So it's 9-0. Okay, can I have a motion to approve item D on the consent agenda to approve the resignation of Kristen Peony? Is that right? Peony? Financial accountant, effective at the end of January 5th, 2024.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, are there any questions or comments?
Well, I've never really heard of a board seriously not approving resignation. but,
She already left.
Yeah.
January 5th. But we're approving it. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Zero. Okay, can I have a motion to approve a budgetary transfer of 16,800 for auditing services from 2310 to account 2350? That was moving in, I have to read the rest of that down, that they were moving the money for,
It was budgeted in the wrong account code to align with the PDE chart of accounts.
that's what I
So
thought.
we expended it in the proper account code and then moved the budget to follow it.
So it's just a matter of making the motion to move that money into another account, same amount of money, whatever. Motion,
I'll make a motion.
second it. You have to speak up, I can't hear you. Okay, all right, any questions or comments? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Few times now. We've never had any issues, never. And it's always been, it's a good thing for the community.
It's only one day, right, May 11th.
Is it like your hazardous and hazardous
We
waste?
were in those different things in the past too.
Okay, do they pay you for it, for using it? No.
No.
Just do it.
It's for the community,
Okay,
so paints. I don't think they take any oil, do they? No.
Pesticides. They'll take pesticides, don't they? I thought they did.
They'll take certain chemicals. I spoke to the planning commission, Deanna, and, yeah, they'll take certain, like antifreeze, things like that. Paints, pretty much anything.
so they park the
I don't think they
vehicle,
do
they
oil.
just park the
What's that?
vehicle and.
Computers,
people bring it
TVs.
forward.
No, it's all chemical based.
They do a separate drive in electronics.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it doesn't have.
We don't have the hours yet. She's gonna be emailing me soon, but we don't have any exact details. They just said it's on for May 11th right now. And there'll be details to follow. Usually, from what I understand, it starts early in the morning. I believe like around 7 a.m.-ish. Maybe that's when they set up and then the public arrives by 8 or 9. And then it runs all through the afternoon. So it's a pretty long day. Yeah, and they get quite a bit. She said last year, I think we got maybe 500 or 600 people through. So it was a pretty
Wow.
decent amount. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, and we'll be on staff to help out, stuff like that.
Maybe we should have a food truck.
We can do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Seriously.
Something hazardous waste.
Yeah. Put the food in the front, hazard waste in the back of the building.
Can we have a goat snuggling area?
Charge for that. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So the vote passes 9-0. Can I have a motion to approve the Upper Bucks County Tech School to hold the spring breakfast on Saturday, March the 2nd, 2024 at no cost to Upper Bucks?
I'll second.
Thank you. And are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions?
I just want to make sure that this goes out to every elementary school child in all those 3 school districts. If we can get this out to all the school districts, the elementary schools, place would be overwhelmed. I think it
It's overwhelmed.
I mean, it's still.
And it was down the hallway, so We're about that tipping point.
Well, Chris, if you got nothing going on that day, you're the Easter bunny.
Just that day.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve 44 cosmetology students, which we heard about earlier, and 4 chaperones to attend the New York International Beauty Show at the Jacob Javits Convention Center in New York on March 5th, 2024. Transportation equals $2,078. Student registration is for 44 of them at $38. That equals $1,672. And the chaperone registration, 4 of them at no cost, and the substitute teacher cost will be $150. So the cost to be paid by the Student Activities Fund is $2,550. The general fund is going to pay $1,350. Total cost of the trip is $3,900.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I have a question then. The Student Activities Fund is actually generated by these attached salon services or these cosmetology? No, that's not.
Now.
Ah, okay.
Wide variety.
Well, that's another good thing to make sure that we get shared with the sending districts, because I do notice, like, I find out about a lot of these things when I'm here. I don't see them on any of our district websites and stuff, so I think that, you know, we could certainly help get the word out for these student activity fund for all the programs, not just yours.
Excellent. Any other questions or concerns?
I'm excited for you guys. That's gonna be so much fun.
So all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, 9-0 again. So item I, motion to approve the revised 2023 to 24 Upper Bucks County Tech School calendar. Mike, do you want to point out what the change is, or Tracy?
Tracy.
Yesterday's.
The end of the school year. Okay. Very good. Can I have a motion? Okay.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, excellent. Any questions or concerns? All in favor, say aye.
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 And then I need a motion to approve the designation of the equipment listed as obsolete and approval for its sale disposal as per the attached listing, which was on the agenda online. Mike, do we need to read those off?
No, as noted, we
Okay,
are getting ready for the auction. We went back and reviewed all obsolete in board docs. And sort of for overabundance of caution, we wanted to make sure everything that's going to auction was listed. So I think Tony, Farley, Stacy Goldberg, and Melissa to go through those lists. And that's why it's pretty extensive this month.
Do we have a date for auction yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
we can set that up this week once.
I'm assuming the
You guys
ascending
approve.
school districts personnel has looked at that, combed through it and said, no, thank you.
They got first.
Great, good.
okay, can I have a motion?
On the second.
All right, thank you. Any other comments or questions on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
9-0. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the MOU between the Upper Bucks County Tech School Veterinary Assisting Program and the Helrich's Family Farm for the 2023-24 school year, as per we've talked about and everybody has seen and heard, so that there was an attached on agenda item 8 on the website. So can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I didn't hear Jim on that one, but I'm assuming he said, okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
All right, one more motion. Can I have a motion to approve one culinary arts instructor and 3 students to go to Passaic County Technical School Institute, 45 Reinhardt Road, Wayne, New Jersey, on February 26, 2024 for the NASA Lunch Culinary Evaluation. Costs not to exceed $300.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I did have a question about this one. So is this, did they already prepare something this is sort of their judgment on whether or not they'll be accepted in the program or?
Yeah, we made it to the next round, but it's information stuff from. For the next batch.
That's great. So one step closer to having another program here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, 9-0. All righty. That's it for the consent agenda. Can we move on to recognition and comments from the audience? Anybody have anything they'd like to share or say? No? Okay. Okay, then, the next regular JOC board meeting is scheduled for February 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the JOC boardroom and number 205 for JOC members, the administration and public attendance or via Zoom. And I just kind of like to add too that the facilities and finance committee meeting, I think we mentioned before, is going to be on February 1st, which is the first Thursday of February.
Yes.
Yes, okay, good. All right, then, are there any comments from the JOC board members? Can we go around the room and anybody has anything to say?
Oh, no, now I remember. So. I did hear today there was a meeting between the assistant superintendents and Ms. Piccola. And, that was a concern raised by Quakertown board members in the past that, those meetings weren't happening. There wasn't good communication. So I'm glad to see they are resuming. And I'm not sure if Stacy got to meet with the business manager since.
That was the snow event, so
Yeah.
it was determined that we were going to reschedule next week.
Okay, so these meetings are happening, we're trying to get our communications built back up. So I'm glad to see those things
And
happen.
the facilities, did you meet with the facility?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys met with the facilities.
Yes, yeah, we met with all the facilities directors, operation director, Alan, and yeah, it went really well. They gave us some good feedback. Some good tips to help us out. And we talked a little bit about the projects, obviously, that we mentioned earlier. So yeah, we're here to help and anything we can do to, facilitate anything, we're willing to help. But yeah, it was really good. All 3 of them were fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what all wanted. The tech school is part of each one of the sending districts just as much as, they are a part of this place. So keeping those lines of communication open and it's only gonna help us all.
Yeah, and I'll be reaching out to a couple of them I got a few more questions about them. So yeah, we'll definitely keep the lines of communication open.
Good.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart thing to do. You've got the 3 school districts, they've got some great expertise. in their
Yeah,
departments, and
absolutely.
tapping into that will be a wealth of knowledge for you. I think
Absolutely.
I'm really glad you made that.
Yeah, thanks.
Good. Chuck, do you have anything to say? You've been very quiet tonight. No?
All good.
Good. Jordan? Good. No? Good. How about Saul? Saul Ramos is our he's a new board member at Palisades, and he's our alternate here for the meeting.
I just want to comment on well-run board. But it's just a pleasure to see coming in here. Yeah, there's no reason to just sit on, just get work. That's appreciated.
And Jim, or I'm sorry, Chris.
One thing I had discussed with Dr. Herrera about the discussion about the generator issue, we had discussed, labeling for the panels. For NFPA 7E, so I don't know, during the next facilities. We're gonna, discuss that, just to bring the district and bring the building into compliance with NFPA 7E. As far as OSHA safety, should an event happen, something that we could have just to cover that before, so. So, to go, thank you.
Jim?
Oh, nothing to add.
Okay, how about you, David?
Ready to wrap?
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you. And Stacy, I'm gonna throw you in there too, you and Steve, and anything that you'd like to. Just one item of note. That yesterday I received an email from SiteLogics that there was an invoice that was missed in December during the transition process. It was an installment payment on the cafeteria project. Because of advertising requirements, it was not able to be on the bill list for tonight. Although it is important and critical for us to make that payment so that we can continue the order and the installation of the updated controls for the HVAC system. That's been an issue that we have been struggling with the last few weeks when there have been power outages. We've had some concerns about getting the heat back up in the building. So under there's a policy that authorizes the executive director to make payment on previously approved existing contracts. So we will release that payment of $103,000 this week, and it will be on the February bill list for your review and approval.
And that was a regular budgeted part of this project.
It's part of the cafeteria renovation that
Yeah.
was on the GISA project.
Yeah.
It's just the next installment payment. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Stephen, do you have any?
No,
No?
I don't want to stand between the motion to adjourn, so.
Before we do that, how about Dr. Merritt?
Well, I'm proud yet again of the Penridge accolade here, so we will invite Amanda to our board meeting. Just excited about the GO program and a little upset we didn't actually have one. And that's not a GO program, but they're here.
You want one?
She didn't go out there, she's still here. Back there, but I think we should.
They didn't want to stay with your back. You're getting yoga positions.
Sometimes you
Right.
bend over them, be right in your back. Second flat.
It's very, very exciting, all the wonderful things happen. Honored to sit here as a superintendent director. So this, thank you.
Speaking, thank you all for coming, and can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, seconded. Who's gonna second it? Oh, you did. Okay, awesome. All right, meeting adjourned. Good night.